Did you know that some of the most fascinating stories in the Bible are often overlooked? Many people are familiar with the well-known stories of the Bible, but there are countless lesser-known narratives that hold significant lessons. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome to Faith Divine TV. In this video, we will explore the untold stories of the Bible that reveal deeper meanings and insights into faith. Now let's uncover these hidden gems together. What if all you had was a stick? God said that's enough. This is the story of a man who had no army, no sword, no shield, just an oxgoad. And with it, God used him to save his people. The days of the judges were dark times for Israel. Without a king, the people often turned away from God and fell into the hands of their enemies. One of those enemies was the Philistines, a powerful and brutal people who terrorized Israel for generations. Their weapons were iron, their warriors were fierce, and their numbers were overwhelming. Against such strength, what could one man possibly do? This is where Shamgar enters the story. We don't know much about Shamgar's life. The Bible gives him only a single verse in Judges 3:31. But that one verse is powerful. Shamgar, son of Anath, struck down 600 Philistines with an oxgoad. A T2 saved Israel. An oxgoad was no warrior's weapon. It was a long wooden staff with a sharp metal point on one end, used by farmers to drive oxen while plowing fields. In other words, Shamgar was not a soldier. He was a worker in the fields. But that ordinary tool in his hand became an extraordinary instrument in God's plan. Picture it, Shamgar, standing alone, armed with nothing more than his farming tool. While hundreds of Philistines advanced, any ordinary man would run. But Shamgar didn't. He stood his ground. With every swing, every thrust, every strike, the oxgoad became a weapon of victory. 600 enemies fell that day, not because Shamgar was the strongest, but because God was with him. It would have been easy for Shamgar to give up, to say, "What difference can one man make?" But he didn't let fear define him, didn't let the size of the enemy determine the size of his faith. Instead, he trusted God to do what seemed impossible. Through that courage, the people of Israel were delivered. His simple act of faith and bravery changed the course of a nation. Shamgar's story is short, but it speaks volumes. You may feel like what you have is too small. You may look at the challenges ahead and think, "I'm not enough. I don't have the right tools. I don't have what it takes." But God is not limited by what you don't have. It can use what's already in your hand. Just as Moses held a shepherd's staff, David held a sling, and Shamgar held an ox. God uses the ordinary to bring about the extraordinary. Shamgar reminds us that sometimes the greatest victories begin with the smallest acts of courage. It doesn't matter if you feel unequipped. What matters is your willingness to stand when everyone else runs. What matters is your faith that God can turn the ordinary into something extraordinary. So here's your challenge. Take a look at what God has already placed in your hands. It may not seem like much, but when surrendered to Him, it's more than enough. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who needs courage today, and share one of your favorite untold Bible stories in the comments, as we will love to hear from you. And don't miss the next episode of the Untold Stories of the Bible, where we uncover another hidden hero God used to change history.